We're disciplined stoners.
The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit.
And welcome back to another episode.
This is the magic of thinking big. Oh, there we go. I had to turn these up a little bit. Just
Thank
to
you.
make there we go.
Okay, great.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners.
I'm Ellevan,
My name is Winnie.
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
Yeah, we are.
And how do we do that? Like, that's such a bold claim.
I know.
Like a big statement, like, oh yeah, you're going to introduce me to topics that make me more self-aware because they allow me to open up a new behavior pattern by observing myself and what has been serving me. And we're like, yeah. So come check us out and tell a friend. And if you're here again, welcome again. Get your joints.
And also, we just like trying to expand our own minds.
Oh yeah, this is a selfish endeavor. We fully just committed to this because this is what we want to do.
Yeah, we had a moment before we started rolling where I was like,
rolling, come on.
I was like,
gonna start.
it's so nice that we
Thank you.
hold for inhale, hold for inhale.
Hold for token.
It's really nice that we get this dedicated conversation time because
Yep.
sometimes when we're together, we're watching a movie or we're doing
stuff.
things. Yeah.
Just fucking doing stuff. Like, we're on our phones too much.
Yeah.
But it's not like we haven't checked those habits. Like, I think we've done really good with understanding that social media is at the top of the list of unnecessary time drainers.
Yeah.
Unnecessary time drainers.
Oh my God.
You're deeper in the addiction than I am.
I totally am.
It's because I'm a little bit more of a salesman.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
Yeah, I know.
So you can get sucked into an ad, but if I look at an ad for a second, I'm like, what colors did they use? What other products was I just surfing? I'm understanding the algorithm.
Yeah, and you also just spend like a lot of time on your posts. It's actually really like I'm like, how can I make this a one-liner and funny on my posts now? Like that's what I do when I post, but I spend way too much time on other people's posts.
I learn from famous people.
Cool.
I watch really successful people make posts. I've been in the same room with them as they're making posts about me. G-Sarp, and all of these very successful people that I've worked with on a collaborative basis, so it was completely appropriate and necessary for us to post about each other. At the time, my thought of investment was like kind of more around your level of just like, yeah, like I'll give it a quarter investment and hope it resonates with the people who naturally kind of whatever get it. And then I'd see, actually, shout out Elise, like she's so thoughtful in the way that she like presents this whole thing, this like whole, here's like the whole story, here's what inspired me, here's where it started, here's why you should care about it, and here's why I care about it.
Yeah, her advocacy work has been so thorough.
She's very thorough.
Yeah.
When she directs videos and everything, she's very, very, very thorough. Like, complimented by a thorough video team, production team. So yeah, I just watched people who were good and got better at it. But I don't know if it serves the short-term gain that I think it does. I think it more just turns my wall into a blog post that's a little more closer to timeless than your average social media stuff. But I don't even think social media will be like chronologically categorized as something that like we use to store. It's more like a personal photo book. Like your Instagram, it's for you to scroll back on.
And honestly, like I realized the other day too, like the boomers are still on Facebook, and like none of us are. Like some of us, I still am, but like I'm not active on it at all. And
Facebook is like the very basic, like you gotta get a Facebook.
And then I feel like millennials and the one below us are are younger than us are
ahead of us.
on the Instagram, and now the new babies are doing the TikTok. And I feel like, you know, you either move with it or you don't, but it becomes like
But from
it
TikTok,
becomes irrelevant to like a younger you eventually. I think that's kind of what I'm learning, is that like younger me would have been so like enthused to get on TikTok and like try and
take your shot.
Yeah, and like this age me now is like, nah.
Like, that's not how I'm built to work that way. Like, I don't like, sorry, like I tried to do a couple and I'm like, well, fuck it, this is kind of fun. I treat it like a little game.
Yeah.
Like, and I can rap on it, but it's like, this means nothing. Like, I don't think this means a lot. Like, really. Like, I think it's good for a flash in the pan. Like, you can get a good asset. And hey, I got friends and people that I work with who are huge on there. And I know that I think they make a full-time go at it. Like, and, you know, they support themselves because of it. Because you can live stream and you can get the animation gifts like Bigo.
Yeah.
So it's very like community-based building in that way, where it's almost like Twitch might be a better answer for me in that way, because I literally don't like the aesthetic of TikTok. Like, it makes your eyes wider. Like, some people were like, because it's a Chinese-based thing, they're like, is this so like they think this is what beauty looks like, more like the Caucasian obsession. Like, there's some crazy like subtext of like some power dynamics going on with TikTok, and some, I don't know, a little bit of brainwashing going on, I kind of feel. But whatever, dude. Whatever we needed distractions, it totally blew up during the pandemic. It was right on time for those little family dance routines. I think that these things are honestly just pockets of time. They document. Remember Vine?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, TikTok was Musical.ly first. There's also Trapper or Triller. Yeah, Triller, like, that's big amongst the Black community, which is its own TikTok.
Oh, cool.
Kind of thing. Yeah, it's very American. Yeah, I think that they're just like phases. Like, it's like high school. It's like whenever you went through that thing, you know, you associate that with parts of you. Like, we think Facebook is old, but like some new young kid entrepreneur who's like, okay, this is the most, it's kind of like a mutual fund from a bank to get like a Facebook. Like, it's very boring, slow growth. It's kind of up to you. It's more like personal than it is like making a business. But also, if you have a business, you have to have a fucking Facebook page, or else it's like not having a website. Like, and like there has to be correspondence on that, and you can drive the amount of consumer traffic that comes from Facebook ads is fucking mind-blowing. Like,
Yeah.
I want to tell these people buying these things and watching my fucking content that I paid to feed to you, like, don't do this right now. Like, you're on Facebook. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just reading the paper. Remember how people used to just sit at coffee shops and read the paper in the 90s?
Yeah.
That's what they do now. They're on
Yeah.
Facebook. And they're
It's
waiting
just
for
like,
people to
I
give
guess-
them relevant news.
Yeah.
So that's why all the confirmation bias is so real with all the health choices that humans are being forced to make right now. It's like, ooh, you're going to get fed to you whatever you engaged with most, and see, like, this is, you're under the algorithm gods, and we think that we still live by free choice.
Yeah.
Like, your sleep. Why don't you look at the world like that? Can you share this magic that you have in your heart? Winnie lives like a kid, y'all. I'm like, I explain some like back end politics to her sometimes, some things, even like as far as just the entertainment industry and how sponsorships work and just money fueling the world, kind of stuff like that. And not making it evil, but understanding the power that it has. And like Winnie's like, I just want to live in a world where everyone's trying their best and has a really nice intention. And I think it's better for your heart. But is this purposeful or is this natural? And why? Why do you think you have that?
It's honestly natural. Like I almost wish that it was purposeful, because I feel like that would make me be like, I am making this choice. But it doesn't feel like a choice.
It's baby sister syndrome.
Yeah, probably. It's like, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to get taken care of. So I believe that we can get taken care of. I have like a pretty deep seated belief, and like we're reading a book right now called The Magic of Thinking Big. And
By David Schwartz.
And it continues to confirm that, like, what you believe is what you receive in your experience. So, like, I think that I have probably a great belief that things work out, and that, like, people are trying their best. Like, and if it doesn't look like it's their best from another person's perspective, that's because you have a limited piece of their story. And you have your entire story to back up why someone should act differently, you know, but it just, like, we can't. I'm a true optimist in the way that I don't think that any of us can really judge one another, which makes things really complicated because then there's no one to blame.
Yes.
So, like, that gets, I think, confusing for people when they're like, well, if someone doesn't take responsibility for this, then how is it ever going to, like, transform?
I love this. Thank you so much for delving into that. I feel like, yeah, you're right. You at your core are the true optimist. And I think people will be surprised to know me at my core. I've cut myself off from things because of what a true pessimist I actually am deep down. My motto growing up was prepare for the worst, hope for the best, you know, and that I almost got it tattooed on me when I was a teenager just because I was sick of being scared all the time because when shit went wrong. There was no floor to some situations, and I was just sick of being scared. So I was like, fuck it. Like, okay, it is this then. And I'll just operate as though it's the worst. Like, I'll just 50 cent this shit and keep a G all the time in my head. And you realize that you're kind of, like, really painstakingly keeping yourself out of a lot of magical manifestations by being truly pessimistic. And then look at the moments when the sun crept through in my mind over the past decade where I believed, where I, like, thought, like, oh, I could maybe do that or be that. And it was like universe every time. It was like, oh, yes. And I was like, whew. And then it's just a self-worth journey, you know? It's, like, truly, truly crazy. Because you'd think on the surface, I'm such a cheerleader. Why do you think I'm such a fucking cheerleader? Because I have been in or am in pain. And it's like, I have to get out of it. Ultimately, if you want the real wisdom of how to be happy, it's absolutely nothing. Like, and not needing anything, you know? But it's like, what do we need? What are we chasing after? This idea of safety, of knowing, as though you'll be in control if you know something more. No, you won't even. So that's why I really get down with Winnie's perspective of just, like, kind of trusting that it's all kind of going the best way that it could if it had to go away. Like, you can't see everything, but it's like this is all really working out. And if nothing else, like, nature balances itself out, like, eventually. And
Yeah.
you just experience a part of the dip or a part of the rise.
Yeah. So we were talking about this. I was away for a week, and
That was really vulnerable. I'm a really sensitive guy.
yeah, no, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Please continue, sorry.
Well, just to, like, add on, when I got back, I'm always in, like, a different place. When you go away somewhere and then come back, you're always in a different place.
Yeah, what did you learn?
Things.
This is our first solo.
I know, yeah.
Welcome back to the show, Winnie.
Thank you. Well, we can get back to that, but, like, when I was back, I felt this, like pride in everything that I am and everything that you are and everything that we are. And I was like, wow, like, look at us. Like, we're healthy, you know, we're taking care of ourselves. We're making future plans. Like, this is a really successful, like, partnership. And I don't know. I just felt so much pride in that. And then at the same time, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Literally, like, I was holding these two sensations in simultaneously in my body. So I was just like, this is amazing. And also, what the fuck is going on?
I think that's just, like, allowing, if you're smart and you hold on to the vibration of what you do have, then that's just allowing the rest of your life to elevate to how that feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, if you think about the best thing going on in your life right now, whether that's your relationship or whether that's your fitness or your money or whatever part of your life is going good right now, your business or whatever, maybe it is your relationship with your friend, whatever, your dog.
Like, if you look at yourself right now, for anyone who's listening, like, if you just like take a moment and you're like, this is where I'm at, and you think about who you are and like what your values are and who you care about, like, aren't you at your core like kind of really proud of that person?
Yeah,
Like,
you
no
made
matter-
it this far. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just think that was beautiful. Ralph.
Yeah. It's this crazy lady who like hangs outside of our place, and she purposely draws a crowd like there so she can like hang out in this area. And I think sometimes people are just maybe lonely and just need someone to talk to. But there's there's interesting moments where it's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's like,
Okay.
but it's okay. I'm sure there's several of those people in every neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like a good friendly face.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, I'm the dumb one. She is probably from somewhere where they fucking hang out together every night or some shit, and it's awesome. Like some small town in Mexico, who knows? In Greece,
do you remember?
They all hang out.
Do you remember when your like parents' friends just
don't
used
do
to
that.
stop by
Yeah.
unannounced,
Yeah,
or like in
that
the
was the
morning,
best.
like for coffee, like they just come over for coffee
Morning-
without calling or
I
anything?
know.
Ugh,
I love that.
that's so nice. That would not happen anymore.
It
We're
gave-
too scheduled.
It gave you a refresh. That person brought you into their world,
Yeah.
and you kind of got excited. And like, that was really a gift, and that you got to give them coffee. I learned a lot about hosting people and creating a vibe for studio sessions from that type vibe. Like, when someone's over and we're creating, I'm cooking up like several courses, and we're just
Yeah.
hanging out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like hanging out, and then all of a sudden we have 3 songs done.
yeah.
And like, that's magic. So I have that old school magic. I love that.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx was good at that in Hollywood coming up. Like, a lot of legendary people. Snoop was good at that. Have parties at your place. Like,
Can you
bring people
imagine
in.
though? Like, I couldn't imagine someone
Have people over.
showing up at like 10 a.m. or whatever, just being like, "Can I come in for coffee?"
I can. I
could-
send Matt
no,
messages
I would
sometimes, and I'm
have-
like, dude, do you want to stop by for a cappuccino? I'm about to have a second one or something.
I would have a meltdown, especially like if I haven't done
Winnie
my morning
hates
routine.
it. Winnie fucking hates it.
I'm like,
Winnie
it is
hates
morning.
company.
Why are you?
I am the most like, I'm like the most open door policy where I live,
Yeah.
and that's just my vibe.
Which I always go with. I've never fought against. Like,
Yeah, but you can feel Winnie's nervous little underbelly just go, people. This is me time. And I'm
Hey.
like, I'm sorry
I'm
that
an open book.
I say, hey, I'm sorry, but like, this is happening now, and I'm gonna take the fucking blame at face value for taking your personal time away from you. And then you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, it's your fault. And I'm like, I can handle that. And then I'm like, can these people come in now? And you're like, yeah. I used to do it to my mom, and my mom was always open door policy. She would feed some kids who really, really, really appreciated it. Like, really appreciated it. And she was always so giving like that. So I think she just became a mom to a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. So I think it's like, my house is like, I feel open
Yeah.
like that. It's very loving. It's very Italian.
Yeah.
It's very like, you can come here and eat and leave if you want.
Yeah. No, I try. I feel like I've done a better job at like embracing it over the last like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I've stopped doing it over the last 2 years. So I think you,
Well-
but no, let me give you this though, because you've accepted it more so because of how much more rare it is. Like, now it seems like someone is just
you
here.
just used to like. You had a lot of people
A
over.
lot of people that I didn't know even.
Yeah, all the time.
Lots.
Pre-COVID.
Like, and even 703, like the other place, I was excited to have that place.
yeah.
Like,
it's
I
the
was
best place.
thugging out still.
Yeah.
like I still wore wife beaters and a chain. Like I still had a lot of people that just Hennessy and blunts everywhere. It's like, I don't know you guys, but fucking go on my balcony and make some noise. Yeah, turn up the music. Like, let's just have a party. And no one fucking cared. Like, the guy beside us was crazier than we were. He had a Doberman that would sneak through the gates and shit all over our floor. And he's like, it's okay. She can stay over there. And I'm like, okay, thanks. No. Take this dog back. He's shitting on my fucking floor.
She was so sweet.
She was sweet. And homie just didn't really like have the time, I think, to fully have a puppy.
Yeah.
But he was a sweetheart too.
Yeah, he...
Jack dude, tats everywhere. Fucking...
Bit of a raver, though.
But sweetheart. Like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Like you just want to like, I don't know, give him a hug. Like he's like a nice guy. He was really nice. But yeah.
P.S. Let's not chop our Doberman's ears anymore.
Don't do that.
I don't
to your
know why
dog
we're still doing that.
and
I don't
your
know
Rottweiler
what the
tails.
belief
Don't
is.
don't nub the tails. I mean, unless it's for their health, unless it's like it hurts them
Yeah.
later on or something. But
Yeah,
I don't think that's
I've
the case.
seen multiple non-crop tails because what happens is they just have this like little weird looking tail, so they just crop it. It's not like a giant tail. It is just like a little like kebab tail.
Oh my god.
So they crop it to make it look cleaner, but I've seen multiple actually that haven't been
end
cropped.
of the spine?
Yes.
Like, are you fucking serious?
I think so.
That freaks me out. I am so glad we don't have tails.
Yeah.
We must have had tails because we grew legs. That's right. We were sperm. So we're like little fish. We're one line, and then the head and the heart grows, and then the limbs grow out. Eventually, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying like over time, like evolution.
Yeah, you're talking about like a minnow, right?
Yeah.
A minnow that turns into like a gecko.
A little pod, yeah. Yeah, so think about like, that's the theory, I guess. That's the Darwin theory that we came from fish.
I think it feels
good. Right. It feels like the organism, or we're just literally a race from space. Like you
race.
A space race. It's like your human race, but like your origin is of the Palladians. Winnie looks like Palladians. I look like a fucking wolf or something. I don't know what I look like.
You're very pretty.
Thank you.
I've been admiring your beauty lately.
I appreciate that.
Ugh.
That's so nice. You're very pretty too.
Thank you.
It's nice. We should make babies.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
We'll talk about
it later. Now it's not the time.
Okay, I have something on my phone that I wanted to read to you.
Oh, I love that. I love a podcast because it's so open and available for anything.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are you ever just on the toilet and you get a strong whiff of your private parts and as you exhale you think, "Oh, I'm going to go again and take another big smell"?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I guess. Because we're dogs, because we're animals, because we just want to understand the bacteria.
Yeah.
Or like,
Do you think any of that is
gross.
okay for stand-up?
Yeah. It's like the Flight of the Conchords right now.
No,
Do you think any of that's good for stand-up?
I was just, when I wrote it as like a joke kind of, but then I was like, I'm going to bring this on the show.
Do you got any other jokes
just
written that you want to test out right now?
Just because like I was on the toilet and that happened and I was like, fuck, I want to smell this again. Like I'm just going to be honest with that. I want to.
Sweet and salty.
Okay. The other thing that I have written down for this episode was action dissolves fear.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So this beautiful book that a fan gave you that you've had forever, I just started reading. We have so many books here. I rent books from the library, but I have books in my home that I have not read.
I know. I love it. We literally have a library, so we're just chipping away at the books that we already have because we're in the right mind frame to read them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we found a process that works. So, yeah, like I was busking, and this girl who I think like worked at the mall or something saw me several times around downtown. She worked at Sephora, something like that. Yeah, I think her name's Charlize, I believe. And then she saw me again near the Blue Jays Stadium when she went there and saw a game. And then she started following me. And for me at that time, I was more performance based. I used busking as a portal to understand like my brand better. Like, cause I had been doing just like the live music scene for like years, like half a decade. And it was like, cool. How do I differentiate myself, and like what is it about me that keeps working, and do I need the structured system of like shows, like planned bar shows to do this, or like venue shows to do this? And I was like, not really. Like at that point I was playing with the idea of like selling my freestyle show to private parties, like on a consistent basis, like wedding shows kind of thing. And I don't know, I think like it's just hard to say what it is. You know, so I decided to use this busking singular show to understand about myself. I forget why I started talking about this.
Oh, because of the book.
Oh, that's right.
Because
So
you're a fan.
I was busking so consistently. That's right. Perfect. Pick right back up. Like I'm busking so consistently, like learning data and like about myself, that like for a summer I must have been out there like 5 times a week.
I think so, yeah.
Like, and so like people
at least 4.
yeah, people were like kind of like starting to really see me more than just like if you caught me at a bar sometime. They started to see me like daily almost, you know. So I got a nice little local buzz, and this was one of the persons that in Toronto, like they were like kind of touched, I think, by it. They were like this is great to see someone like do what they're believing in. And I was still kind of messy with my branding then. Like I wasn't quite sure, but I was talented enough that I was out there doing it, you know. But like my board was, you know, still written in highlight marker, you know what I'm saying? It was funny. It was grungy, you know, but it made it so raw, and people could identify that, and they would really reward me for that, because they could tell that I was just like out there swinging with my eyes closed. And it was fun. Actually, my eyes were way the fuck open.
So brave. Ugh.
Yeah, it was fun. So I figured it out. So she hit me up on Twitter. And then I was like, also that was cool, because at that point, you're not really getting a lot of like see you live and follow you online. Just, I don't know if it was like, because it was only 2016. Now you probably more so people, I mean, look what's happened. There's no more live shows. Like for a period of time there wasn't. But anyway, like, it was one of the first little glimmers of people seeing me live, and then took it upon themselves to follow me. Like when I was busking, like I got the most people that's ever happened to me for. And then, you know, and all this led to my kind of self-confidence that gave me the courage to start producing like solo and stuff. So that was really cool. But yeah, so this fan was like, she bought some CDs. So, and she's like, yeah, do you want to like just meet at the mall and like I'll grab them from you? I'm like, perfect. So in the cafeteria, and she gives me this book and another book. I can't remember, but she's like, I think like, you know, you'll find some really good answers in these books. And I was like, sweet, thanks. Like, but I wasn't really into reading too deeply yet. And like, but it was so nice, like such a pure intention to be like, I think what you need is like in these books. Like, and she gave me this book, so I just like kept it. Like, there will be a time, and I think now, this was like 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
So like literally it's like the potential someone's seen in me then from a distance, you know, is resonating with me now after all I've been through like in 6 years. So that's so nice. So now Winnie's reading it, and it's such so that's how it got. There's my Instagram story post right there. That's how that's what inspired. That's what this thing is.
So, one of the first couple chapters is talking about like excuse-itis essentially. And we make excuses generally because we're in fear of what could happen or could not happen if we do any type of thing. So it's actually been really cool, because since I've been reading it, just by reading it, I feel like it's affected me in a way where I'm like taking up more space just in myself.
Yeah.
And like I'm like asking for more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and so one of the things was to combat fear was action. And there's like other steps in there as well, but that really resonated with me, this idea that action dissolves fear. And that's so freaking true. Everything that I've ever been afraid of, especially performance wise, dissolves after I do it. And it's like, that's so annoying. That's so annoying that you have to feel the fear and then do the thing anyways for the fear not to be a fear anymore.
Oh man, that's the most perfect poetry of the universe though, right there.
Yeah, no, it really is. So that's been just like heavy in a good way in my body and my heart, and just kind of like has prompted me to do things that I've not been doing for no reason at all. Like
It feels good.
It feels good. Yeah.
It feels really good to be with life. There's life force in that.
Yeah.
There's like
It's energy.
getting ready and walking through the snow and going and getting what you need to get and coming back, and it's like, fuck, that was, challenging at times, but like it was really worth it, and it feels good to be here now. And it's not just that you'll be back home again with the items that you need. It's like, I went through something to get this, and you have that kind of like tale to yourself, like overcoming, and that's just life, baby.
Yeah.
You like go through, you fall from grace. You come from perfect.
Yeah.
You fall, you go and then you go to pain, and then you figure out how to fix the pain. You go through it, and you come back, and then you start to feel better again, and you're in alignment, and you come back to source. And I think life is just that over and over and over again.
What a ride.
For instance, the book that we were talking about, I just turned to a random page, and it's page 99, which shout out Wayne Gretzky for no reason at all. It says, remember, it pays in every way to think big. 1, don't sell yourself short. Conquer the crime of self-deprecation. Concentrate on your assets. You're better than you think you are. That's so nice, because if you really think about that yourself, you say, well, I feel good about myself. Okay, I can do something. I'm of value. I can give to the world. I can create to the world. Let me have some creative thoughts on how I can do this in the best way.
And generally, you'll surprise yourself at how much you actually do know.
Sell your gifts. Sell what you're really good at. Number 2, use the big thinker's vocabulary. Use big, bright, cheerful words. Use words that promise victory, hope, happiness, pleasure. Avoid words that create unpleasant images of failure, defeat, and grief. Winnie's guilty of this a little bit sometimes because you're so grounded. No? But
I think like
you're brighter lately for sure.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a lot better at that in the recent past.
I lean on bright words too much sometimes to spark enthusiasm.
So to prove this, I introduced a word, and the word was thrilled or thrilling.
Ooh.
And I couldn't believe the reaction I got from using that word. People loved it. They would either comment on it like thrilling. It is thrilling, or they would just sort of like chuckle at it, like a thrill, like what? Like they'd kind of just, and regardless, I feel like it invigorated people. And I thought that was really cool. And it invigorated me.
Yeah.
Because then I looked at whatever I was doing as like a true thrill. And that was exciting.
Oh, I love that. I'm so happy to know that. There's nothing worse than to think like, oh, this person's not having a good time, or they're trapping themselves in a mental jail of their own, and they're like redundant thoughts of not gratitude of life. It's like, make a game out of it. Have fun with it. Be fresh, be joyful, be thrilled. Oh, and you're so chill. You know what your book could be called? Thrillin' and Chillin'.
No, I have
with
a
Winnie
title
Clark.
for my book.
Well, be open to different title suggestions.
Okay.
I was open to I actually kept my original one, but no, my original name for my book is Feeling is Believing. And then the book took a different direction while I was writing it. And then I had the idea, this is about thoughts and feelings. And then Humble was like, I showed it to him, the audio version. He's like, you open the title suggestions? I'm like, yeah. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like SDFU. He's like, this is like you're telling people, like, you need to shut up. Like, because I do say it in the book.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes you need to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You know?
and you say, if you're not willing to shut the fuck up, stop reading now.
First chapter, get the fuck out of my face if you're not willing to like grow. Because excuse-itis, I don't even have patience for it. I don't even entertain it.
I
This
know
book,
you don't.
You should read this book. Okay, here's number 3.
I feel like you cut off a lot, though, by doing that.
I'm probably a little more impatient than is wise. I try and take cues from patient, sweet people like you and Jimsy. You know, but both of you, I feel like your time gets taken advantage of by people who just like suck the life out of you. You know? But what do? It makes you stronger. But yeah, I look to people who when he just did like a air like didum.
No, I had a song in my head and I had to dance it out for a second.
Right, tell people about this because when he thought this
kill
happened,
you, make you stronger.
That just happens when he gets a burst of a song sometimes because I said lyrics that thought, and she just like, bam. Well, sometimes that does happen, like 90s TV shows.
Yeah. But I hear the full song happen, but only the part that I resonated with. And it comes on so strong that
She dances.
I got to move to it.
It's so
I got to
cute.
groove to it. It's a really beautiful thing that happens. I hope it happens to other people.
You know, that's close to Tourette's. That's something like in the same universe. Like just the fact that it shows up like that, that's what Tourette's is like.
Yeah.
You're like, So everyone has that. It's almost like divine inspiration, like reminding you that your brain can like amazingly mimic and mirror anything at any time, anything you've ever heard. It has playback.
Yeah.
You can hear the exact song, full mix, so crispy, high definition.
Boom. But not if because now I'm trying.
Not if you try.
I'm trying to
No.
bring in a song and it's not happening.
Remember, it's like you have to be one with the infinite. You have to
Yeah.
be one with the blurriness of space and time. And when you try and focus in on the one,
that's good.
the matter becomes harder.
So I was in super flow state then.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
was just,
That's where rhymes come from for me.
yeah.
That's like this slot.
It feels good.
Yeah. I leave this slot open.
Yeah.
And it tells you, like, you know, like when Eminem was rhyming like crazy, like it seemed like next level, like more. It's like what Chris D'Elia makes fun of, like it was so in depth with flow, like morphosis, metamorphosis, courses, like that you get caught in the vortex of him, like, well, even like, oh man, it's just like it takes over. It's so
Yeah.
cool. It's like something else.
Yeah. I had that once in musical theater. I had it a couple times actually. And then I like came back and I was like, that was me. Because I know.
I was there
'cause
for
I'm
it.
in my body.
It's almost like I met it.
But yeah.
I met
yeah.
it. It alley-ooped me.
Yeah, for sure.
I showed up with my mouth.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
It always felt so good. And it's always best received when it comes from that place.
God doesn't lie.
Yeah.
That's what I've made some great friends from cultures who are just I say trained to look for that. Like my Dubai peeps, they can see it in me, something like that. Sometimes very religious Mexican folks are like, oh man, or even just like just people trained to look for like this certain spark or whatever. They'll be like, ooh, that lives in you. When I'm being the flow state, when I'm being
Yeah.
Ellevan, when I'm like see me in flow state, they're like, there's something, and I was like, I know, it's crazy.
By the way, I also love that you've like rekindled a relationship with like even the word God.
Thank
Because
you.
you were religious.
I'm a confirmed Catholic,
Yeah.
Italian style.
Yeah. And you like took religious classes and stuff, right?
We talked about the Bible sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like you had an interesting like kind of that's where it started, and then it was like, wait, this is interesting and weird. And then
Yeah, so here's the thing about like I was very against it. My dad's very condescending of the idea of religion because he went to an all-boys Catholic school and was like had to go to church like 4 times a day or whatever, some bullshit when he was a kid, from like Newfoundland, St. John's. So they were like very just intense like about it. So that's why they grew to not really trust church and state. because of the ulterior motives found in even the name of God being implicated to humans. Ultimately, the idea of religion doesn't correlate with God only because of this. There is no hierarchy. There's no no. Everyone is actually like equipped with the same God molecule. Like, there's no person that's like should be more. Like, no one should give you your blessing. You receive your blessing, and then you get it. It's they fucked you. They fucked us. Like, but in that fucking, they got to get their money, right? They twist the story so they get their money, and that's all good. This is the world that Winnie doesn't want to live in, right? So, but then I reverse engineer and learn to forgive them because here's why. Here's what they gave. So that's what they took. Here's what they gave. Community. And church used to be a different thing. Like, we now have social clubs. Now we're so intellectually advanced that we have clubs to get together for a certain reason. Church used to be how communities came together and like damn near how humans felt they stayed alive, because that's where they met people and they were part of that. And we're so tribal, like, oh my God, we need it. So we associated the love of that, which is kind of like that social love. I forget which Greek word resembles that. But there's a specific type of love that's that. So we felt that. And then we needed it to engage. And then the ideologies spoken about from this brilliant, if I'm holding a Bible right now, like from this beautiful tool into self. The Bible is written about what like Joe Dispenza is talking about now in the name of science. So science is the new church. Watch them employ ways that they got to make their money too. But what do they give us? Reassurance, data that reflects a certain point of truth most times. Like, science gives us a lot of advancements for, the money that it costs. So it's like church also had that trade, but it just created community. So when I was involved with the community, I think the idea and concept was like probably a little outdated. I think at the time Facebook was just new, like just starting, and like I had a MySpace account maybe, So my experience with the actual community was very like they would talk shit about each other. I'm like, these motherfuckers are still just normal ass motherfuckers. Like, what are you doing? And we went to a nice Roman Catholic church, and it was beautiful, and it smelled great. And I was a little Italian boy, drop out, making wads of cash every Saturday night, working at a fine dining Italian restaurant. And me and my mom would go to church on Sunday mornings, and I would tip them. You give them money, like in this pass around thing. So it didn't like provide this service, like literally just being kind of a critical thinker since forever. It's like, am I getting the values worth of this? Like, inflation's a thing because of people are willing to stick to the things that they find valuable. So it's like, I don't know if I wasn't doing this little ritual with my mom, it was a way for me and my mom to connect. I think ultimately it gave us something to do. So it was like a community in the way that me and my mom would just go observe people and how much they suck. And like that's how me and my mom connected. And now we've grown out of those tragic patterns, and like it's just not a center point. But I think she grew up in like the 60s in Newfoundland too. So it's like she has it very embedded in her that like you reach God through the blessing of someone else, and you feel lucky when like it's very masculine, patriarchy kind of driven. Like so sweet, like she loves like Joel Osteen, who's like the blessing, like if you are hearing my voice now, like I'm giving you this blessing. And I'm like, that's cool, I'm giving you a blessing. Like or like I'm receiving your blessing and sending one back to you. Like I'm like, the power that I feel is from within.
Yeah.
Like from giving the message of peace, because you can create it for yourself. And that's kind of fucking, everyone is a preacher of their own. I wrote a fucking book of what my take on like finding general happiness is. It's to shut the fuck up. And I mean, the church just kind of sold you this. And like, if you do pick up a Bible, do not read it as history. It's not history. It's a great metaphorical resemblance to structures and stories that may or may have not have taken place. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know last Thursday from 2,000 years ago. I don't know. I know the significance in the time. It's 13,000 years ago, like AD. If you don't think Christianity has taken over the world, what fucking year are we in? AD, after desecration, after death of Christ, and BC, before Christ. So that, like, it won as a way of, like, mind control. It's focusing our attention in one place. You know, that's what this pandemic did for us. So, yeah, I've gotten back with the idea of God through my ownership of it. You know, I didn't ever feel like I had to go to somewhere. That's why I just stopped going to church. I was just done. And it's like, you do confession. It's like, why is telling some 6-year-old man that you don't know that you jerk off fucking part of, like, that's weird to me still. Like, don't confess your sins to someone else. Deal with them with yourself. And the best apology is changed behavior. And by you getting forgiven outwardly every week, it's not helpful actually to the guilt that you should fucking feel if your behavior doesn't change. Sorry, you should fucking feel guilty. If you think every week you want to work out and you don't show up for yourself. You deserve to feel like shit. Sorry. Don't fucking tell some old guy in a nice smelling building about it and think that you deserve to be off the hook. Put the fucking Cheetos down, do 10 fucking push-ups, and, like, drink water. Like, that's hardcore shit. Like, I was fat too. I'm speaking from a place of pain. I had to just cut the shit. It's so hard. I'm not for 1 second saying it's easy, but it's worth it.
Hey,
oh, man. It's worth it.
Hey, Ellevan.
Yo.
Do you know how to shut the fuck up?
Right? Thank you.
Fun fact.
Shh. Sorry.
Or trains in Sweden traveling down to the coast generate 5 times the amount of electricity they use, powering nearby towns and the return trip for other trains.
What? Can you run that? Can you run that one more time?
Okay, there's these trains called ore trains in Sweden, and when they travel down the coast, they generate 5 times the amount of electricity they use. They generate 5 times that of which they use. So they power nearby towns and trains going back up. I don't understand. The reason why I looked up fun facts about electricity is because we had an electric moment.
Oh, yeah, we zapped green.
Yeah, we zapped like green, and it was a big zap.
Like, I'm the Green Lantern. Like,
yeah.
I've been practicing raising my vibrations consistently in my body, and I'm expecting to see more light bodies.
I know, because you were chill about it. You were like, did you just see that? And I was like, yeah.
I'm like, you saw green, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Expect more of that.
So I looked up fun.
And we're just electric together.
Yeah, I know. We're electric. So there's some other cool facts about energy. But this one was also cool. So someone took the trouble to calculate this, and we're going to take their word for it.
Okay.
You would need about 648 AA batteries to power a human being for a day.
Holy. Based
on 1 calorie equaling 4.2 joules. 648. AAs. We have AAs in here, and you said that lasted 10 hours.
10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Which are approximately, an hour.
Sometimes more, though.
Yeah. Yeah, collectively, it's probably another hour on there. Probably 11.
Ooh.
Hoo-ha! Shit, that's amazing. Shout out Sweden.
I know. How cool is that?
Good. I had a gig from the Swedish Trade Commission. I learned a fucking Swedish song. Skål! And then they gave us...
Your first year here.
First year here. They had me hanging around these parties.
We love Toronto.
Fuck, I've had quite the times here. And then they had me perform at this big event. We took our clothes off.
You and I?
No, me and Tyson.
All of your clothes?
Well, We only took our clothes off because there was an underwear sponsor that was Sweden. These really nice underwear, actually.
Nice.
And like they gave us some, and then they're like, yeah, maybe do a song for this brand, and like they wanted me to freestyle rap about like all these different brands. Like there's a really nice furniture company like Nice or something, or Eames. Yeah, they do beds and couches and stuff like that. Like we're talking like $15,000 like pieces, like so expensive in quality. Like they should last a lifetime. That's kind of like their ideal. So we did the underwear, and then when we got to that song to do the underwear song, because we did like a set, like a 3 or 5 song set. I think we ended up doing like 4 songs. Yeah, they had it up on this balcony, and it was a fucking big event. Actually, this is crazy. I can't believe some things I've done. This is intense talking about this, but I remember him walking up and being like, okay, show's over, guys. Can you put some clothes on? And he was like in a nice suit, and we were like, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then Spandy came and met us later that night. We got him in and got him a bunch of free drink tickets.
Nice.
Spandy Andy was at that fucking event.
Well, because it was in the summer and he was here for the tennis.
He took over my room.
Cool.
Yeah, when I left. He
Oh my
stayed there.
goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
We've been through some crazy times. Yeah, and then I don't know what I was just saying, but yeah, the Swedish thing, and then yeah, we fucking whipped our shirts and pants off to do this song for these underwear brands in those underwear.
That's nice.
They loved it. The
Yeah.
brand loved it, but the actual guy, like, it was because it was a Swedish Trade Commission.
Yeah.
Like, so they're paid for by like the government of Sweden. It's like,
Yeah.
be here and do parties. So it's like, what are you doing hiring strippers? You know.
Yeah.
It's
But
not-
there was no dick and balls.
Mm-mm.
So.
It's not like the movie Side Boob streaming on iTunes now.
You gave away your secrets.
I don't know why I rap myself out like that. I just don't care. I love it. I think it's fun. I had a good time doing that movie. An indie classic.
Many more to come, my love.
Many more to come. I love doing films. Do you love doing films? Mm-hmm. I love writing our show.
I know. It's very exciting. Thank you for writing it.
Yeah, I'm excited. This was a neat episode.
Yeah, I liked this episode.
This was like, we talked about God. We talked about health. We talked about you.
I went on a couple tangents.
I loved your tangents.
I know.
Your tangenting was fabulous.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
What's your favorite word that's like kind of a mouthful to say? Transcendental is mine.
Oh, equanimity.
Ooh, I like that. I think you used that in the meditation that you just dropped last week on Discipline Stoners.
Yeah.
Yep. Equanimity. I read some book already, so I'm
All
done.
right.
I'm done my homework. Good night,
Hey,
guys.
that was a great day sesh.
Yeah, great day sesh. It's still daytime. We're going to take a walk up. We're going to have a nice little fucking Monday here. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's all good. We're going to pretend it's Monday. No.
And it's Friday for everyone.
That's right. I mean, it's Friday.
Or it could be any day, really.
Any day, because you could be listening to this not on the drop. Yeah, why do we even do that?
We don't do days.
Doesn't matter.
Love you.
Bye, guys. Hey, anything else before we go?
I don't think so.
I'm just gonna check my phone and make sure that there's nothing else. Ooh. I don't know why I'm doing this.
No, that's okay. Please.
Just
making sure.
Oh, wait.
Covering all bases.
check this out.
Effective thought on health and the body. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people just as surely, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body, and lays it open to the entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will soon shatter the nervous system. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed, and habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it. Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood so long as they propagate unclean thoughts. Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of a defiled mind proceeds a defiled life and a corrupt body. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. Clean thoughts make clean habits. The so-called saint who does not wash his body is not a saint. He who has strengthened and purified his thoughts does not need to consider the malevolent microbe.
I'm going pee now.
All right, that was just a little bit. I let it go on longer than planned, but that was "As a Man Thinketh" by James Allen, and it just has some really good info in that book on correlating your thoughts with the outcomes on your body. Fall in love with yourself first, you know. Okay, I love you guys. Bye. What's exactly
Discipline Stoners!
The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness.
Hey, win!
Oh my god. Yes.
Roll one up
We,
and take a hit.
We got a new thing.
Oh, right. We need to tell you about our new thing.
Support the show now on Patreon and get a bunch of private perks.